Well, hello there. It's Friday, February 9th, 2018, and welcome to Song Dissections. We're going to look at one of the most iconic American songs of all time, an uplifting song about how much we love the USA. Oh, wait, I've read the lyrics. It's political and it's a downer. But every time we think of the song, Born in the USA, what do we always belt out? The Born in the USA. That's the part we always remember, right? We don't remember any of the other stuff. When I go through the lyrics, you're going to be depressed. I know I was. I had to go get myself 6 Mountain Dews just to bring myself back up. So we're going to go through do a little biopsy here. Take a little poke around inside the lyrics of the song and realize this isn't quite the uplifting American anthem that I thought it was. Kind of depressing. So let's start. This song was written way back in 1982. It was released on the Born in the USA album, which was released in June 24th, 1984. This song was released on October 30th, 1984. That's when Born in the USA. Now, of course, I think it peaked at number 1 on the charts. It did very well. In fact, it ranks out of the top 500 songs of all time for Rolling Stone magazine. It ranks actually 275. Doesn't sound that much, but when you figure there have been literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of songs written, to be ranked in the top 500 out of millions is pretty good. But Bruce Springsteen he's been known for having kind of singing a lot of down type songs, but this song had such a great beat. It had such a, belting out that Born in the USA was so uplifting, and I mean everybody thinks it's like it's a patriotic song, and to a point it is pointing out a little bit of the problems that happened when some of these soldiers came back from Vietnam, but it's not quite the happy song it probably should be, or that we think it should be, with that awesome Born in the USA that he belts out all the time. So we're gonna get into the lyrics a little bit, and have your favorite sugary caffeinated drink on hand to bring you out of the doldrums, because we're gonna go deep into a little bit of depressing stuff here. Let's start. Now remember, there's no singing in these, there's no music, because I don't want any YouTube strikes. It's just me talking through the lyrics and talking to y'all. So let's get started. Okay, so it starts out, born down in a dead man's town. The first kick I took was when I hit the ground. End up like a dog that's been beat too much, till you spend half your life just covering it up. Wow, we're off to a great start. We're talking about this guy who's been kicked. As soon as he basically, I think what that's supposed to represent is as soon as he gets off the bus from coming back from the war, a lot of these guys were bussed back in and, bussed back into their towns. But as soon as he gets back home, people, Vietnam was a very unpopular war. It's not like the Gulf Wars where those guys came back and we praise them a lot more and we salute them. And I do too. I mean, that's why I end all my videos with "To the troops past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom." Because what they've done for all of us, we should all give a lot of thanks. Well, at the end of the Vietnam War, it was a very unpopular war. There were people that draft dodged. There were people that didn't believe in this war. And maybe we shouldn't have been over there, but it wasn't the soldiers' fault. They were following orders, but when they came back, they didn't come back to heroes' welcomes a lot of the time. They came back to, being called baby killers, and, they were being portrayed as, just murderers that were fighting a war that was unnecessary. So this kind of getting off the bus, as soon as their feet hit the ground, they're basically getting, not literally, but mentally and emotionally and, verbally kicked wherever they go. It's like, because, Rambo maybe touches, if you want to think about that a little bit. Rambo kind of touches on it, but it was not a popular war, and a lot of these soldiers didn't come back to the heroes' welcomes they probably should have had. Remember, they were just following orders, and they were doing the job that our government gave them to do. And I salute anybody that can go over and protect our freedoms and try to protect the freedoms of others. But yeah, that was an unpopular war, so that's probably what all that is meaning. Then he comes out with "Born in the USA." I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA. Born in the USA. I have a feeling he was born somewhere in this country. I'm just saying. He might have been born in the United States of America. God bless him. Got in a little hometown jam, so they put a rifle in my hand, sent me off to a foreign land to go and kill the yellow man. Okay, so a lot of younger viewers might not realize that way back in the day, we actually considered it acceptable to call the Vietnamese people, and to an extent Asian people, to call them yellow, because we thought their skins were kind of yellowish. I don't know how we got that, but they used to call a lot of the Asians, they would call them yellow men. And I don't know if it had maybe the Agent Orange was being used, or I really don't know. But that was kind of a slang against them, to be called the yellow man. So, it's in this song. It's an old song. It's from the mid '80s, so it's 30. This song is 34 years old. Think about that, 34 years old. It is an old song. But I mean, that's what they were called. They were, you were being sent over to kill the yellow man. The Vietnamese soldiers were referred to as that. So were a lot of the Vietnamese people, period. It's not right by any stretch of the imagination, but that's how it was referred to when they were sent off to that war in the in the late 60s. Then he goes back into he was born in the USA. Says it a few more times in the uplifting manner that does not fit this song. So he comes back home to the refinery. Hiring man said, "Son, if it was up to me," went down to see my VA man. He said, "Son, don't you understand?" Now, I really have no idea what those lyrics mean. I'm sure somebody else could probably tell you, but I'm looking at those. That's a lot of gibberish. Now, I'm sure there's, probably the hiring guy saying, it was like, "Son, if it was up to me, I wouldn't keep you on board. I wouldn't have you here, because you work with, he was in the unpopular war. I don't really want Vietnam soldiers over and doing here and causing problems, or, being a distraction because other people don't like you because you were in that war." And then probably the VA man, which, is a veterans, I think it's a veteran, has to do with the Veterans Association or something like that. But he's probably trying to tell that soldier, it's like, "Son, don't you understand? Nobody likes any of the soldiers that came back. It's like that war is unpopular. Nobody likes the war, and they don't like the soldiers that fought in the war, even though it's not the soldiers' fault." So, I have a feeling that's kind of what that's saying there. Then it goes on, "I had a brother at Khe Sanh fighting off the Viet Cong. They're still there. He's all gone." Okay, once again, see, I'm telling you, it's depressing. It's a heavy, if you read the lyrics, it's a heavy song. It's not uplifting and fun like the Born in the USAs that are being, chanted out in the chorus. This song has deep political meaning. This song was kind of, Bruce Springsteen trying to point out to people that it's like, hey, they didn't treat our soldiers right when they came back from that war. And that's what he's pointing out. They kind of got kicked around a lot. Those guys did a very unpopular job over there. And this song is just basically trying to point out, but it's a heavy song. So then he goes on and he says, "He had a woman he loved in Saigon. I got a picture of him in her arms now." So I'm guessing, had a girlfriend over there, fell in love with her. You know, there's a picture of him. Down in the shadow of the penitentiary, out by the gas fires of the refinery, I'm 10 years burning down the road. Nowhere to run, ain't nowhere to go. Ain't got nowhere to go. Basically keeps saying the same thing. It's just, you know, nobody, he can't depend on anybody because nobody wants to help him, because if he admits to being in that war, the song is just heavy, heavy, heavy. I guess I wanted to do this because, frankly, we look at our soldiers with a lot more reverence than we used to, and we have to remember there was a time when the soldiers coming back from war, especially Vietnam, they were not held in the utmost respect that they should have been. We do a lot better job of that now, of respecting the soldiers that come back from the wars. We understand better that it's like, these people are protecting our freedoms, and sometimes they get sent to places that we don't think they should be, but it's not their fault. The government's doing it. We know better to blame the government for sending these guys over, sending, these men and women over to a place that maybe we don't think they should be. Like the people that went and fought in the Gulf War, and then they fought in some of the other stuff in the aftermath of the Gulf War when we said they had weapons of mass destruction. The good part was we didn't blame the soldiers for that. We blamed a bunch of government officials that kept saying they're hiding weapons, they're stockpiling, they're building weapons, and then we get over there and there's no weapons, So it's just one of those things where when the soldiers come back, we salute them and we thank them for their service. Well, that didn't happen at the end of the Vietnam War. And when those guys came back from their tours of duty, it didn't happen then. Even the guys that came back from World War II, I think, got quite a bit of reverence, because we won that war. Vietnam, you could almost chalk that one up as a loss. I mean, they beat us out of their country. So I don't know, would it have been different if we would have went over there and done what we've done in every other war, which is win? I don't know, would it have been different? Maybe the fact that we lost and we had nothing to really show for why we were over there, because we didn't change anything, so it was just one of those things where it's like, well, then why were you there? And not that it was ever the soldiers' fault, but so then he goes back into Born in the USA. I was born in the USA. Born in the USA. I'm a long gone daddy in the USA. Born in the USA. Born in the USA. Born in the USA. It's the end of the song, just so you know. There's a lot of born. I'm a cool rockin' daddy in the USA. So see, at the end of the song, he puts in things like, I'm a long gone daddy and I'm a cool rockin' daddy. It's almost like he's trying to, build back up your spirits at the end of the song. It's like he goes, I know this is depressing, but it's, I don't know. I've never gotten into the head of Bruce Springsteen to find out what he's done. But this is a lot heavier song, and I just kind of wanted people to know about this. It's not the same uplifting, happy song that, sometimes we think when all we hear is that Born in the USA over and over again. And whenever anybody talks about the song, that's the only part we ever sing. Nobody ever sings Born Down in a Dead Man's Town. The first kick I took is when I hit the ground. I mean, you don't ever hear people saying that. You just hear the Born in the USA, and it's always kind of thought of as, an anthem for our country, kind of an uplifting, iconic American song, but we don't always all know the actual meaning behind it. So I wanted for people to hear the lyrics and, what do you think the lyrics are? Is there somebody out there that maybe knows more about this song than what I know, so that you can maybe tell me what some of the lyrics towards the end meant? There was a few down there towards the bottom that were a little bit more at the end of the song that are a little bit more, almost not really cryptic, but not, this technically was the generation before me, the Vietnam War was. So with all that being said, and I'm going to say it every time I do one of these videos at the end, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.